What's up guys, my name is Timbo and today we're going to be talking about Destiny 2 Shadowkeep and more specifically, some new exotic weapons coming into the game. As many of you know, I was away on vacation last week and wasn't able to make any videos, but I'm now back, so feel free to dry those eyes. Within the next few weeks, I'll have some really cool things to announce, as well as more than likely hitting 100,000 subscribers, which is just crazy to think about. I don't want to waste a bunch of time in this video talking about those announcements, but just keep your eyes on the channel and you shouldn't miss it. There's just going to be some changes coming and I want as many of you to be aware of it so you can stay in the loop and take advantage of some of the cool new things I've got prepared. Now Bungie hasn't really talked about many of the new exotics they've got coming in Shadowkeep, which I feel is kinda unlike them. But if you take the information they've given us and combine it with watching some of their developer insight videos frame by frame, it's possible to find 6 and possibly 7 new exotic weapons that will be coming this fall. There could and probably will be more, but as of right now, these are the ones that we know about. The exciting thing is that only 2 of those will be returning Destiny 1 exotics, as the rest are completely new additions to the game, which is always nice. Without further ado guys, let's take a look at these new weapons in as much detail as we possibly can. I'm going to start out the video with the returning exotics because I'm assuming they're the least exciting to hear about. First up is Monte Carlo, the exotic auto rifle. In the video I made a few weeks ago about the exotics that are still left behind in Destiny 1, I brought up the Monte Carlo and talked about how it was, in my opinion, the best looking weapon in Destiny, EVER. And it seemed like hundreds of you told me in the comments that the Monte Carlo is supposed to come back, and now here it is, being clearly visible at several points in Bungie's Shadowkeep Vidoc. While the Monte Carlo looked amazing, especially with its ornaments, the weapon itself was just okay. Its intrinsic perk allowed dealing damage to reduce your melee cooldown, and granted a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. With a lot of the old exotics that have made a return, Bungie has tended to make tweaks to them to improve or just flat out change them, and personally I hope to see them do the same thing with Monte Carlo. I don't know what they'll do, but all I'm saying is that the big knife sticking off the end of that gun better have a purpose the second time around. I've always wanted to stab something with that thing. Next up is the No Time to Explain, which is an exotic pulse rifle. I'm listing off 7 weapons in this video, but I do so with a technicality here. For a brief second, a gun with the body of No Time to Explain is shown in the Bungie Vidoc, but with no gameplay, whether or not the frame that was shown is No Time to Explain is unconfirmed. It very well could be an energy pulse rifle for the prophecy weapons instead of the exotic from Destiny 1. But just in case it is the No Time to Explain, we can go over its perks really quickly. It was auto firing, and critical hits fired from this weapon allowed those bullets to be returned to the magazine. In concept, this was a really good perk, but it was only super useful when battling bosses, as they have really big crit spots that you'd be firing into constantly. So as long as you kept firing into that crit zone, you'd never have to reload. The problem with this is that at that point, more often than not, it was better to use your exotic slot on something like Black Spindle, because a sniper does a lot more damage than a pulse rifle. Plus the game has bad juju now, which will reload on just kills. You don't have to hit crits or do anything special that takes skill. Speaking of crit hits is a brand new exotic trace rifle. This trace rifle doesn't have a name yet, despite it being shown quite a few times in gameplay sequences. One thing we do know about it though is its exotic perk, which is a really cool one, I might add. When you're hitting an enemy with this weapon, a sort of orb or bubble will be created around them. During this, your teammates can shoot this enemy anywhere and do crit damage. Not just that, but they even said this crit damage is going to be buffed of some sort. On the surface, this sounds like a great PvE weapon for getting rid of enemies with lots of health or bosses, really helping out people like me that have terrible aim. But I could see this potentially being good in PvP. Did someone say team shot? Up after this is another exotic hand cannon. I know you're all just so excited to see another hand cannon that isn't named Hawkmoon. This one, I will admit, is pretty cool as well though. First of all, it has a sniper scope attached to it, making it better for longer ranges. It's going to be high damage, probably slow firing, and have a big kick to it. Kinda reminds me of the first Curse, just with a scope now. But this thing isn't just first Curse, it's also got some touch of malice in there as well, as firing this weapon too much causes you to set yourself on fire. With the touch of malice in Destiny 1, this whole pain inflicting on yourself happened when you reached the last bullet in your mag. That final bullet did extra damage at the expense of some of your own health. It's too early to say how this hand cannon will work though. That perk does make me feel a little weird about it because I feel like if Bungie felt the need to make this thing hurt you if you use it too much, then it would need to be really powerful. So I guess we'll just have to see if this thing is OP or complete trash. The last 3 weapons on the list are all going to be power weapons. I'm going to go through 2 of them really quickly because we know like literally nothing about them other than the fact that they exist. The first of which is this exotic rocket launcher which appeared in a second Bungie video that came out a few days ago. Technically this could be a legendary. Bungie just brought truth back into the game, so why they would need another exotic void, this looks to be void, rocket launcher is confusing, but frankly this looks a little bit too unique in my opinion to be just a legendary. And yes, I do see the creepy floaty shadow people that look like the darkness concept art. And then the second is a heavy machine gun, which makes me happy to see. I think Destiny could use more of these machine guns. There's no gameplay of it, but people were able to see a 3D model of it at the GuardianCon charity event. It has a sort of Vex look to it. I wasn't there, so I don't have footage of it myself, and I don't feel right stealing it from someone else, but Googling a picture of it isn't too difficult if you're interested. And the last weapon on our list is an exotic heavy bow. The common theme here is the same with this one. We don't know the name of it just yet. This does go in the heavy slot as I said, and it looks to do solar damage. Now in the gameplay, the developer is saying that this knockback effect is too big at the moment, so it probably won't be that ridiculous in the actual game, but this bow does have the ability to launch enemies in the air. I feel like a lot of these new exotics are very unique, which is something that I certainly like. Not everything needs to be OP, sometimes gimmicky, funny, or just creative does just fine. I'm not sure how this knockback effect will work in game, whether it only happens to enemies or if you can do this to allies too. Also, the amount of damage this thing does is kind of a mystery, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And with that, the list is complete. Those are the 7 exotic weapons coming to Destiny 2 Shadowkeep as of July 28th. If you guys enjoyed this video, a like is super appreciated. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.